firstly like to acknowledge the Gadigal people, who are the traditional custodians of this land. I would also like to pay respect to the elders both past and present of the Eora Nation. Thank you to Annabelle, our new concert band conductor, and the jazz band for entertaining us with their wonderful music. We are very proud of our music program here at Pymble, and always welcome a chance to display our talents. Today's ceremony is to mark the achievements of the children at PPS. Mr. Diodati, will you now give your principal's report? Teachers are asked to nominate 3 children from their class to receive a certificate that recognises not only achievement but also hard work. A certificate is also presented to the class citizen, and a teacher from Year 5 and 6 gives a certificate for their maths group. I would like to ask Mrs. Walker from the P&C to present these certificates now.
In 6H, Matisse Stringer.
The next awards to be presented will be the Science Awards. One student from each class has been awarded the Science Certificate for work that they have completed in lessons with Mrs. Radford. A Year 6 child has also been selected to receive the School Science Award. Would Mrs. Radford please present these awards? A closely guarded secret. I call upon Mr. Diodati to end the suspense. The recipients of each award will receive a gift voucher from Dimmick's Books. The art prize has been kindly donated by a past teacher, Mrs. Goodwin. The 2 citizenship awards have been kindly donated by Mrs. Sandra Foster, who retired in 2013 after 23 years at Pymble. The Industrious Endeavour Award was donated by Mr. Alistair Henskins, our local member.
My time at Pymble. Good morning, teachers, parents and fellow students. I am Eloise Jones and have been the school captain for 2015. It has been such an honour leading the school this year, and I wish all the best for the new and lovely Year 6. My time at Pymble, where to begin? My journey here begins in Year 3. After having spent 6 years of living in America, I knew it was going to be a challenge adapting to a totally different country, let alone leaving the life that I knew. I arrived at Top Gate, full of first aid jitters. Who would I sit with? Would my teacher be nice? If I wasn't already a nervous wreck, seeing so many yellow hats and grey uniforms was an emotional overload. Of course, I had nothing to worry about, because as soon as I stepped through the gates, I was warmly welcomed by Mrs. Kelly and Mrs. Foster, and I haven't looked back since. The next thing I knew, I was being whisked away from Mum, who was trying to burst the hole back in tears. Then it was the hall, where we'd be put into our classes. Year 3 was a blast, full of fun, friendships, activities and learning. I had easily fit into the wonderful life of being a Pymble student. I am sure everyone loved Year 3, and we were all eagerly waiting for an even better year in 2013. Year 4 was, just as promised, incredible. More friends were made, and we were joined by some newbies too. The year went by quickly, and finally we would be a part of the senior school. Year 5 would have to have been one of my favourites, as just when I thought it couldn't get any better, it did. More opportunities came with being that little bit older, and after nap time was over, the thing we had been waiting for at last came, Year 5 camp. Those 3 days were definitely a highlight, and I am sure everyone would agree if that we could do it again, we'd be there in a heartbeat. All the Year 5 teachers were phenomenal, pushing us to achieve our goals, and at last I had a teacher who appreciated football as much as I did, but he just goes for the wrong team. And finally, Year 6. What a year. From our first day, there was a twist, which ended up being the composite class. Our class was then lucky enough to have the truly spectacular Mrs. Venter. Mr. Dormer couldn't seem to let us all go, so he became a 6th grade teacher, alongside the wonderful Mrs. Herbert. From the first week, there were super fun excursions, projects, and our eagerly anticipated iPads were waiting in turn for us to explore. But I am sure everyone can agree that the biggest and best part of the year was the famous Year 6 snow trip. The week was jam-packed with skiing, fun, and so much more that I can't even describe. It was definitely well worth the wait. By now, our incredible friendships were cemented, and we were enjoying all the benefits of 21st century learning. Throughout the year, we have become much more independent, creative, and collaborative. And now, I am here speaking to you all today about my time at Pymble, which has almost come to an end. But I wouldn't have gotten up here today if it weren't to each and every one of you. From having the most brilliant time being your school leader, I have learned so much more about responsibilities, cooperation, respect, and integrity. I wouldn't be the person I am today without you all, and I can't thank you enough for voting for me on that one Friday. I would like to thank all of our magnificent teachers for turning us all into intelligent and kind kids, Mr. Diodati and Mrs. White for being our fearless leaders, and of course, all of you. You've stood by each other, even when it might be the last thing you feel like doing, supported and praised one another's achievements, and always been there to have fun and a good laugh. All Pymble students are extremely fortunate to have so much support, opportunities and resources to help as much as possible with our learning. With a swimming pool, all sorts of sports, splendid classrooms, library and science rooms, technology and many resources, Pymble has it all. But we wouldn't have any of it without our superb PMC and the Pymble community. They've given us the cola, which we have all benefited from, on the netball court, the life-changing air conditioning in the hall, and so much more. It is hard to believe that this time last year, I was so excited and proud to be your school captain, with everything laid out in front of me. But now, it is time to move on and begin the new journey keenly waiting for us. I wish you all the very best and hope that the memories and friendships you leave with from here you remember forever. And just remember, with high school rapidly coming, we're all in this together. At Pymble Public School, we wear our green yellow with honour and with pride. Our friends are by our side, and we do truly learn to live. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Diodati, Mrs. White, teachers, parents, and of course, PPS students. My name is William Feather, and I've had the honour of being your school captain in 2015. It gives me great pleasure to stand here and reflect on my years at Pymble Public School. It has been an absolutely incredible time. It is August 7th, 2003, the morning of the Pymble Public Running Carnival. The lunches are packed, a low GI breakfast prepared, and it was to be the first time my older brother Nick made a fun. Mum and Dad missed it, as that was the day I came into the world. My PPS journey began a week later when I was a news item in Mrs. Foster's Year 2 class. By the following year, I was efficient at pulling everything off the shelves in Mrs. McDougall's kindergarten classroom. The next year I started scripture and entertained Mrs. Armbrister's Year 1 by pegging my grapes at the class, to the scripture teacher's horror. Sorry about that, Mum. My life was full of swimming and running carnivals, PSSA cricket and plays in the park. In 2009, I started kindergarten.
I was able to impress everyone by informing them that my dad was Prime Minister of the school and the boss of Mr. Lee. My dad was actually P&C President. I had Mrs. Pitt as a teacher. She was great. I still remember having heaps of fun in her class. The only nerve-wracking thing about being in Mrs. Pitt's class was that you apparently wouldn't be able to get to year 1 if you couldn't spell Mrs. Pitt's favourite food, chocolate. As I moved up through infants, I discovered new places around the school and met new friends. A highlight for me was being selected in Mrs. Foster's infants choir. I also enjoyed performing in some amazing class items. My teachers for those 2 years were Mrs. McDougall and Miss Vertel. Then suddenly I was in primary. Year 3 was good fun, going to assemblies and seeing the school captains run it, and dreaming about one day being like them. And also being able to play in new areas of the playground, once we learnt the rules. Then you were moved up to Year 4. Year 4 was one of my favourite years, as I was put in Mrs. Kelly's class. Mrs. Kelly was an awesome teacher. She knew when to be strict and when to have fun, and we had a lot of fun. I can still remember having Art Friday, where all we did was art while we listened to the Harry Potter books. Now comes the 2 best years at PPS, Year 5 and 6. At this point, you know basically everything about Pymble, except how it feels to go on a school camp. I was given a really amazing teacher in Year 5, Mrs. Deschamps, who was incredibly nice. At the beginning of the year, we had to work hard because of NAPLAN, but right after NAPLAN, we had a great reward, our school camp, which was held at the Great Aussie Bush Camp. Camp was heaps of fun, because you got to hang out with friends while doing really cool activities. Sadly, I got sick and had to miss out on commando. Fortunately, my friends enthusiastically updated me on how good it was. And so I come to my last year at Pymble Public School. Year 6 has been an absolute blast. Highlights for me have included the Zone Swimming Carnival, winning the PSSA Cricket Grand Final, and performing in the School Spectacular. As a year group, the highlight was probably the ski trip, as it was full of friends, awesome snow, and some funny stacks. One thing I did learn about myself is that I can get bus sick. Sorry about that, Mr. Dormer. You can definitely move quickly with a sick bag. Thank you, Mrs. Vettel, for a very fun year. It has been an honour and privilege to serve as school captain this year. I would like to thank Eloise, Colin and Alice and the prefects for their support and friendship throughout this year. I wish the leaders of 2016 all the best. I know you'll do a great job. I haven't known a day when I've not been part of this amazing school community. My place in it, the teachers and my friends have all helped shape me into the person I am. I know I speak for all of Year 6 as we go out into the big, scary but exciting world of high school, that Pymble Public School has been a place where we have truly learnt to live. Thank you.